Businesses are primarily in India known by their owners. There are very few businesses which are actually the brand is larger than the owners. And you had been at the topmost position in a very respected, reputed bank. Did you see a difference from where you started being an owner, from being an executive? Did the outlook of the world towards you changed?
No, 2-3 things. So I think at Kotak we prided ourselves in what we called as professional entrepreneur kind of a thing, which meant that like an entrepreneur you had a lot of independence and to take the decisions and move forward.
Right, but Kotak would have still been known as Mr. Uday Kotak's company.
Yeah, obviously the vision was his, but within that the professional entrepreneurship meant that a lot of professionals felt the ownership of an entrepreneur, and they would take independent decisions like an entrepreneur and be responsible to grow their business. So I think I'm just trying to distinguish between one is entrepreneurship, but I think what was different when I started Nykaa and as an entrepreneur is that you actually, I believe in power of compounding, and as an entrepreneur, whichever area of business you believe in, you keep at it for many years, and through that power of compounding, you kind of you start seeing a lot of opportunities. Like I think when I was a professional, I used to think, oh, how will I get ideas? Like how do I find an idea that will be great? And now from where I sit, I'm always finding those white spaces, so to speak, or areas which I think I can bring to the Indian consumer and.
Does the outside world in your circle, do you get viewed differently in the professional circle, that now you're not an executive but an entrepreneur? Is there a difference in the kind of respect that the world gives you as an entrepreneur compared to as an executive?
I haven't looked at all that, but if you ask me what is that one differential skill of an entrepreneur is that they are risk takers and they do take open-ended risk, and it's not possible very often when you embark on an entrepreneurial journey, especially early stage entrepreneurship, it's not possible to so-called dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and you do take a lot of open-ended risks based on a belief, and obviously you're always surrounded by a lot of naysayers and you still move ahead with your belief. So I think in many ways you can call it a vision or you can call it a passion and a belief in yourself that you don't allow others to destabilize you and you keep pursuing your path.
Right. And there are many success secrets for Nykaa. You spoke about it. We got to know about it from other reporting. I think one of the first things is that it was very obvious that beauty is so close to your health and your well-being. It's almost a quasi-medicine you're applying on the skin. The trust is a big element, and most of the e-com platforms, we were not sure that we would get the authentic product. Sometimes, you would have the expiry date wiped out. So that is definitely one of the things that you focused on, and which had happened primarily because you have gone into warehousing yourself. So to my mind, that was a huge risk. I'm not very sure about the equation, but the trade-off is that while you add efficiency having your own warehouses, but you add to huge amount of holding cost, the capital that you hold that is deployed to hold the stock, and then the stock might expire at some point in time. So how does this equation work in terms of efficiency and the holding cost?
So I always felt that we need to do a lot of heavy lifting on behalf of our consumers, so that we are a very consumer-centric business and we always solved it from the lens of the consumer. And I think one of the biggest problem in beauty was that because products expire around 3 years or their expiry date is about 3 years, and if the retail chain has not managed the expiry very well, consumer gets like old products and stuff like that. And a typical symbol of trust is usually a banyan tree, and I used to in my early days wonder that how will a young company look like a banyan tree. Banyan trees are hundreds of years old. So I think but we got consumer trust very quickly because I think Nykaa believed in authenticity, and authenticity brought us trust and being and saying who we are. And there were a lot of early conversations where we would say that If you're saying up to 30% off, at least 30% of the product should be 30% off. Can't say 60% off and then have only one product at 60% off. So we got a lot of consumer trust through what we call as Nykaa value system, which was very authentic and being true about the conversation we have with our consumers.